You say, what do you know, baby? Welcome back, everybody. It has been a long week. Getting episode 17 up and running. Long holiday weekend. Good to be back. Tried to shoot it last night and it went too long because I got a lot of information and it went too long and the audio was all ducked up. So, gonna go back at it now. Gonna shoot this here. Right. Go ahead and do it now. So, episode 17. What a week in college football. Rival week was nuts. Those rivalry games are always like that. I hammered the spreads and never do that again. Rivalry week, take the unders, take the underdogs. It's never what it seems. Favorites never cover. Craziness. That's why I love college football. Absolutely nuts. Rivalry week. Still a lot to sort out. Had a lot of questions answered. Still need a lot of questions answered. Got a lot to do. The football playoff rankings is going to get more intense. I'm going to preview the conference championship games this coming weekend. We're going to go over last week. We're going to go over the conference championships, and we're going to go over playoffs. So, just who's in, who's out, what team helped their case, what team didn't. So first off, Ole Miss won the Golden Egg Bowl. They won the Egg Bowl game. Love that rivalry. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, great rivalry. Not a real barn burner offensively, kind of a defensive battle. Ole Miss won 17-7. Ole Miss has a chance for New Year's Six Bowl. See what they kind of do with that. Looked good, got enough done, won the rivalry game. So great game to watch. It was right after Thanksgiving Friday, Black Friday. Great game. Oklahoma blew out 10 at TCU, 69-45. Typical Big 12 game, no defense. 114 combined total points. Oklahoma had a chance to play for the Big 12 title. They won't because Oklahoma State won out against BYU in double OT. So they will play Texas. Gabriel had 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Great game. Both teams combined for over 1,000 yards offense. Typical Big 12 fashion, teams have no defense and their offense is through the roof. So their defense gives up 69, but they score 71. That's kind of been the textbook for most Pac-12, most Big 12. So we'll see what kind of Oklahoma can do next season. We'll see what they can do in their bowl game. See who plays, see who doesn't. We'll go from no defense to no offense. An absolute sleeper. Iowa and Nebraska had no offense. It was a 13-10 barn burner. The over-under was 26. It was 23. No offense from either team. Nebraska had 3 turnovers. Iowa had a pretty good defense. Iowa can't score 13 points and win against Michigan in the Big Ten title game, so they got a lot to figure out. What are they going to do? They're going to need points. It looked ugly. Iowa's defense hung in there, but Iowa's offense needs points. It's like they just every week it seems like they score 10, 13 points. So Tulane beat Utah, Texas San Antonio 29-16. Tulane will host the American Conference title game 2 years in a row. Shout out to Tulane, the Green Wave. Love the fan base, love the energy, love the green jerseys. I'm pulling for you. 11-1. Possibly get a New Year's Six Bowl. Win that game, get a Six Bowl. Didn't have much of a passing game. They need to figure that out before they get to their bowl game and everything else. Tulane's defense forced 5 turnovers, so their defense helped them out. Their offense was kind of stagnant. They'll get that figured out. They kind of need to enhance that and get it to the next level to compete in bowl games and when you go a team against potentially Penn State, that type of game. So shout out to Tulane, pulling for you on the title. Mizzou dominated Arkansas 48-14. Mizzou was looking for New Year's Six Bowl. The SEC is kind of littered with those teams with 2 losses, and it's just a Georgia, Bama, so we'll see where they go. Texas dominates Texas Tech 57-7. They're playing the Big 12 title game against Oklahoma State on Saturday at noon. Going to be a good game for that. Penn State shuts out Michigan State 42-0. Michigan State hired their new coach. Oregon State's head coach is now the Michigan State's coach. They kind of just turned that turmoil, got rid of it, starting fresh, see what that kind of does for everybody. Wipe the slate clean. Michigan State come back next year. Oregon beat Oregon State in the Classic Bowl game. Was thinking I was going to be a little closer. Oregon State was going to make it more interesting, but Oregon, came out and slaughtered them 31-7. They're going to play Washington in the Pac-12 rematch, Pac-12 title rematch, as they played earlier in the year, and Washington won on a last-second field goal. Bo Nix continues his Hyman season, looked good, looked real good offensively. I think it's going to be a barn burning. It's going to be like a 45-42 game against Washington in the Pac-12 title game in Vegas, so look forward to that. Unfortunately, Michigan beat Ohio State. They're going to play Iowa. OSU had a missed field goal, 2 interceptions. 1 interception led to Michigan having short field and just running it down and getting a touchdown quick and easy. And the other interception was a game-ending one. So, got some work to do there. OSU needs a lot to happen to get in the top 4. They're probably going to be 6, 7. They're probably going to be behind Bama. Michigan's now the favorite to win the national championship based on odds. So, It kind of settled some questions in the Big Ten, so we'll kind of go through that. But yeah, Michigan is on its way there. Kentucky spoils Louisville's playoff hopes. Louisville needed a lot to happen, but that second loss cost them. But, hang your heads up high. You got the ACC title game against the backup quarterback FSU. Winning that title gets you a guaranteed New Year's Six Bowl, so get in there. Louisville, I'm pulling for y'all, like how you all play. Kentucky, had some big losses in the SEC, which you would imagine to happen to Georgia and to Florida. They finished the season 7-5, and they're going to get a bowl game. Louisville had a great offensive game. They had 400 yards on offense. They had 3 costly turnovers. They were 3-4 on fourth down. So you have some things that you can hang your hat on. The other things you need to adjust and adapt to. Louisville, I think, did just enough to get to the ACC title game. Now they need to win it. They got some things to iron out, but they got that week to prepare for it, and they want to play for a bowl game. So they really want to bring this title home to Louisville, so I'm pulling for them. Plummer needs to do more. Their QB, he needs to a little more productive to beat FSU. He's not going to be able to do the numbers he had against Kentucky's, subpar defense. He put up some good numbers, but he's going to have to be real dominant, get some stuff going when they play FSU next week. I think their running back, Jawad Jordan, will be the X factor. I think they had the X factor against Notre Dame. I think they feed him the rock. They get him involved. He's the reason why they win that game. You can't have no turnovers, no penalties against FSU. You got to play smart. So Louisville's got to figure it out. LSU survives Texas A&M 42-30. Daniels continues his Heisman run. I have him winning it preseason. You can go back and check. He has 50 touchdowns in the last 5 SEC quarterbacks to get 50 touchdowns, won the Heisman. So I think that's going to be there for them. I think it's going to be Nix or Daniels. Texas A&M had no rushing game, 94 yards, so they kind of just have been, they're a team. The whole Jimbo Fisher thing, they've kind of just been waiting for this train wreck season to end. They've won good games. They're bowl eligible, so they're going to get a bowl game, and I think they're going to try to hang their hat on the bowl game. They got the interim coach. He's full of energy. LSU's also looking to get into a top bowl game. They're ranked. They're within the top 15. They got their head coach. Duke is coming. Duke's head coach is going to Texas A&M head coach. So these teams, they got that figured out. They're going to go to the offseason, figure it out. I think that's kind of why Duke's season kind of slowly digressed. They thought it was going to be the guy from Kentucky, but he said, he was staying at Kentucky. Bama survives a crazy one at Auburn. Auburn, what are you doing? Rush 3 on 4th and goal from the 31-yard line. He has to throw in a 40-yard pass, and you give him all the time in the world. Not shocked. You buy house insurance and you send the house and blitz and make it difficult. That just can't happen. Auburn sending 3 guys had that game in the bag. That really could have shook up college football. Y'all really got to figure that out. 3rd and goal was an incomplete pass because he passed the line to gain, threw the ball, which you thought it was over from then, and all that happened. Bama's going to take that energy into the Georgia game next week for the SEC championship game. So I'd look out Georgia. Arizona beat Arizona State 59-23. Oklahoma State survives a battle against BYU in double OT. They score a final touchdown in the final seconds, and then BYU goes down and gets a final game-tying field goal as time expired. And then OSU forced a fumble on double OT to secure the win. They went for a touchdown and got no 2 points, so they stopped BYU when they needed to. And Oklahoma State's going to play in the Big 12 championship game. Tennessee beat Vandy 48-24. Liberty finished the season 12-0 for the first time in the program's 50 years. They're going to host the Conference USA Championship game. They're also going to look for a bowl game. I'm not sure if it's going to be a New Year's Six game, but it's going to be one level lower. Some high-energy bowl would be a nice bowl game to see them play a decent bowl game. Washington survives upset bid against Washington State. It was a great battle for the Big Apple or Apple Cup or whatever they call it. Washington kicks game-winning field goal as time expired. Washington State had opportunities. They were in Washington's zone, had the ability to put the game away. They had a costly holding penalty that put them back out of the field goal range and kind of just at the end handed it to Washington. But it was a great rivalry game, great for college football, kind of the Pac-12 going away next year. It's kind of nice to get one last good game out of that game. So Washington's offense wasn't nearly as dominant. They're going to need to figure some things out against Oregon because it's going to be a barn burner, 45, 48, 42, 45 type of game. So they're going to need to do their thing. And Penix Jr. is going to have a really good game to take care of that game. So looking forward to that. FSU survives against UF type of energy. They had it. They had the vibe. Night game in the swamp. They had early opportunity to take over the game. They had high energy. FSU did just enough. They had Rodemaker do game manager stuff, 0 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, some 194 yards. He's going to have to do a lot more against FSU. Louisville in the ACC championship game. He's not going to be able to produce those numbers and get the results he's looking for. So he's really going to have to go up to a second degree, a second level, and get some things rolling and get dominance, and need to figure out what he's going to do against Louisville, because Louisville's coming to win that game. 90 yards rushing won't be enough for FSU. They need to get better on third down. They were 4-14, and FSU's got a lot of work to do against ACC. You know, they win and they're in. They win. They should get in the college football playoff, but if they get in the college football playoff with what he's producing against UF and potentially Louisville, they're going to get smacked. Notre Dame dominated Stanford 56-23. Georgia has a strong second half. They beat Georgia Tech 31-23. Georgia didn't have a complete game. They kind of walked through the first half and then kind of got alert in the second half. Georgia Tech had opportunities at home to turn the tides, give their team a chance, get the energy, and they kind of let Georgia hang around too long, and then Georgia did Georgia things in the second half. Carson looked okay. He could do a little better. Georgia's offense wasn't as explosive. Their defense wasn't as dominant. You know, Georgia Tech's not the greatest football team, and allowing 23 points, you know, we'll see what that goes. But they're playing Bama. That's probably going to be the best championship game ever for the weekend coming up. Clemson is a strong second half of the season. They beat South Carolina 16-7 in kind of a Dudley game, defensive battle. I think Dabo saved his season, finished with 4 straight wins, and saved his season. I think he's going to get some recruitment with those wins, and kind of save his season, get a good bowl game. So 4 straight wins, and now they're ranked. Iowa State and Kansas State in the snow was a great game. Iowa State came out swinging with huge plays. They had a 71-yard touchdown, 77-yard touchdown, a 79-yard touchdown, a 60-yard touchdown, 82-yard touchdown. So Iowa State came out smacking them in the mouth. Kansas State didn't know how to react. Huge plays, got them on the board quickly and effectively. Kansas State had 32 first downs, but just couldn't get enough going and just couldn't stop the big plays. So Iowa State ended up taking them down with those big plays. So NC State dominates UNC for the second year in a row to win that game. NC State's defense kept Drake May at bay. He had 109 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but he had 109 yards rushing. He was the leading rusher for UNC. So it seems like UNC's offense rolls around Drake May. Obviously, he's going away next year, so that kind of energy and vibe, knowing your quarterback one is leaving, that kind of slowly, I feel like they progressively got worse each week. They're still going to get a bowl game. They played some good games in the ACC. They got some good wins, had some tough losses, but they're still going to get a good bowl game. UNC had 100 or almost 100 penalty yards, and they had 3 turnovers. You're not going to win a game like that, and they gave up over 500 yards for NC State's offense. So NC State get themselves a good bowl game too. We'll go through some FBS scores. Toledo beat Central Michigan 32-17. They finished the season 11-1. Ohio beat Akron 25-14. Utah State survives a double overtime winner against New Mexico. Utah State's now bowl eligible. Boise State beat Air Force 27-17 to play into the Mountain West Conference. So Boise State's going to host UNLV in that game. UCF beat Houston 27-13 to finish 6-6, saved the season. I think Gus Malzahn did just enough. UCF. I had UCF being one of the worst of the add-ons. Of the 4 add-ons to the Big 12, I had UCF being the worst, and they saved their season 6-6, and they finished season 4-2. So kudos to Gus Malzahn. I think they're going to get a good bowl game, and they're going to make it interesting. Miami of Ohio survives road test against Ball State 17-15, plays Toledo in the MAC title game. They're going to get slapped. Go Toledo. Syracuse beat Wake Forest 35-31, 6-6, helped finish their season. They fired their coach a couple weeks ago. So I think that helped them save their season, kind of iron some things out, and get himself bowled for the second year in a row. So kudos to them. Utah beats Colorado. As I said earlier, Colorado had all the hype the first couple games, and then they absolutely crapped the bed. They lost 6 straight to finish 4-8. Wasn't a good year for Colorado. I know they kind of had ups and downs. They had injuries and everything else, but when they played real opponents, they got shellacked. So I was, anti-Colorado. I was a hater in the first part of the season, but then I told you in the beginning that when they started playing Pac-12 teams to see what was going to happen, and it turned out what I thought was going to happen. They got slacked by teams that they were going to play. So, that's the reality. They got a dose of reality. They got hit in the chin by good teams, and they couldn't really respond. So, San Jose State beats – this is interesting. So San Jose State beats UNLV 37-31, but UNLV still gets into the Mountain West title game based on a 3-way tie because the 3 teams that tied didn't play each other, and they did a computer rankings, and the computer rankings determined that UNLV might, even though they lost, which is crazy to me. How do you lose but still get computer ranked higher than the team that beat you. So anyway, the Mountain West has got a lot to figure out. So UNLV was ranked 58.5. San Jose State, after a loss, by the way, UNLV was ranked 58.5. San Jose State was 44.5, and Boise was 55.75. But Boise State beat Air Force, so they got themselves in. So kind of confusing. Kind of don't know what's going on with the Mountain West, but we'll kind of just let that go and do their own thing because, honestly, who's going to watch that game? But I'm poisoned for Boise, obviously. But yeah, San Jose State wins but doesn't get in. Wisconsin wins against Minnesota 28-14 to win the Bunions Axe. Great game, great ending. Chopping down the goalpost, watching every player get it, and taking the axe, dominating the axe. It was great. Allen had 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Virginia Tech dominates Virginia. Virginia Tech was taking a team photo late afterwards and on Virginia's home field, and Virginia turned on the sprinklers. Classic. That's why you love rivalry games. That's why you watch. Classic, classic, classic. Gotta love it. App State beats Georgia Southern 55-27, and they'll play in the Sun Belt. So go App State, looking to pull for them against Troy. I think App State will beat Troy. West Virginia beats Baylor 34-31. Kansas beats Cincy 49-16. USF beats Charlotte 48-14. Wyoming beat Nevada 42-6. Cal beat UCLA 33-7. Cal finishes 6-6 after kind of a rocky start. UCLA just kept going down and down and down and plummeting. And San Diego State beat Fresno State. So that wasn't bad at all. Some FBS scores, some top 25 scores. And now we're going to go into the conference championship games. I'm going to go down and give you the numbers, give you the lists. This is the meaty part of the episode. Pay attention, take some notes. This is where college football is all about. This is why I started this show, because this right here is it. Hammer it. Conference USA, we've got New Mexico State 10-3 at number 25 versus number 25 Liberty 11-0. Liberty -11, taking Liberty. American Athletic Conference, SMU 10-2, number 25 Tulane. Tulane's -3.5, taking Tulane. Big Ten, the 17 Iowa 10-2, number 3 Michigan 12-0. Michigan's 23.0 favorites. That's not even going to be a game. ACC number 10 Louisville 10-2, number 5 FSU 12-0. FSU -4. I'm taking Louisville at +4. These rankings for these teams are from last weekend, so when they update on Tuesday, they'll be more closer. But no one's really going down or higher that much lower, so everyone's going to be pretty much in the same realm. Big 12, number 20 Oklahoma State 9-3 versus number 7 Texas 11-1. Texas -12.5. That is a little high, but I'd still take Texas at -12.5. The last two, the good ones, Pac-12, number 6 Oregon 11-1 versus number 4 Washington 12-0. I'm taking Oregon's -9.5. That's a little high for me. So I'm really not sure if it's going to get adjusted here as the rankings come out on Tuesday. That's kind of what happened, the rankings on Sunday night when I looked it up. So we'll see if that changes. But 9.5 is a little high. So kind of, at the moment, I'm taking Oregon, but I wouldn't be surprised if Washington covered. But Oregon's offense is really, really good right now. And last but not least, number 1 Georgia 12-0, number 8 Bama 11-1. This one's going to start upsetting people, stirring the pot. But I think Alabama's high right now is unmatched. They beat Auburn the way they did. They know that they're bringing that energy that's going to come to the SEC championship game. They're underdogs. They're going to try to shut down Georgia's three-peat sensation, try to ruin their thing. Georgia's a -5, and hot take, I'm taking Bama at +5. I think Bama's going to win that game. I think Georgia still gets in, depending on what other else stuff happens. I don't see Georgia not getting in with one loss, but we'll kind of see what else plays out. But I'm taking Bama. So these conference championship games, at least one team in each matchup is ranked, which is great. Great for the conference championship games. Great for next Saturday to watch all these games. It's going to be great. Pay attention to these games. Watch them. They're great. This is what's going to have the college football world, people watching it. Next season, there's 12-team playoff. Conferences are going away. The Pac-12 is going away. The 12-team playoff is happening. So these rivalry games aren't going to have as much asset to it, because when Michigan and Ohio State play, they both can still get in regardless if they win or lose. And they can end up playing each other for the Big Ten championship game because the top 2 teams. So really focus on this. Enjoy these games. This is the best part of the year, best part of college football. Thank you for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter at the Bubcast _. I'm going to go over bets, parlays, lay some things down. My Thanksgiving parlay for all 3 teams to cover the spread took a $4 bet, $130. So if you want to, free money, let me know. But thank you for watching. This is going to be episode 17. We're going to post this right now. We got episode 18 coming out Wednesday night about the updated NFL stuff. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to get on there and lay some bets for these conference championship games. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving with you and your family. I'm glad to be back. A little groggy. Got to get the wheels turning. So thanks for tuning in. What do you say? What do you know? Have a great week.